Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Wayne Grayson, and you're watching Equipment World. Welcome into another episode of The Dirt, the video podcast that brings you news and conversations around the latest in construction equipment and the construction industry. Today, we've got a special episode of The Dirt for you on tap. We're going to be talking with Jeff and Ben Franken. They run a successful Kubota dealership out of Kiowa, Colorado. Every year here at Equipment World, we take in nominations from all over the United States from equipment dealerships vying to be the next big iron dealer of the year, and we recently named Jeff and Ben's dealership, Front Range Kubota, as our 2020 Big Iron Dealer of the Year. But look, beyond having a successful and award-winning dealership that has really done nothing but grow since they started it back in 2013, I wanted to have Jeff and Ben on The Dirt today because they have a unique perspective on the construction industry as a whole, and that's because they actually started out on the other side of the transaction. Jeff and Ben were actually contractors before they got into sales. We're going to get into Jeff and Ben's full story. We're going to get into how they run Front Range Kubota, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they're expecting out of 2021 as the construction industry hopefully moves out of the uncertainty of the pandemic and into further growth. Let's get into it. Well, Jeff and Ben, thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat today. Welcome into the show. And how are you guys doing today in the run up here to the holidays?
Great. Thank you very much.
Now, before we get into the actual discussion today, I do have something here that I think you guys might be interested in. So here it is, Jeff, Ben, on behalf of the whole Equipment World team, I'm thrilled to present you guys with the Big Iron Dealer of the Year award for 2020. What do you guys think?
Awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I don't know how well it's coming through the Zoom chat since it is essentially transparent, but I'll hold it a little. It's really cool in person. So yeah, we are gonna get this in the mail to you guys as soon as possible, and hopefully that will arrive before Christmas. I'm gonna put it right here behind me for right now. But yeah, congratulations to you guys again. Super deserving. Awesome story. And let's go ahead and get into your story a bit, though, guys. Jeff, you're the owner of the outfit, so kind of tell me a little bit about Front Range, the type of equipment that you guys sell, what your customer base looks like, and Jeff, what you handle personally on a daily basis.
I get to pay all the bills. We have a range from tiny little homeowners with acreages to big farmers. We have construction equipment. We have a broad spectrum, and we're a Kubota only dealer, so we don't mix any other equipment with it right now.
Other than short line implements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, and Ben, tell me what your day-to-day looks like and kind of what you're handling. So you're working for your dad, but he's the owner of the business. But what does your role look like, and what is the kind of the interplay between you guys look like on a day-to-day basis too?
I pretty much do whatever Dad tells me. No, I mean,
smart man.
As far as sales management, I go through with the guys every day and help them with whatever I can on sales, and just making sure that our customers are getting taken care of, whether that's from sales to service to rental parts. Just make sure that we can help any way we can.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get back to the sales side in a minute here, but I do want to focus a bit here at the top on your backstory a little bit. You guys actually started out on the other side of things as contractors, not just in kind of construction, but also in the logging business. Jeff, tell me about how you started your old outfit, the Dove Creek. What type of work that you guys did over the years? Because I know that there was actually several types of work that you guys did within that company. So give us the history of Dove Creek and how long you were in the construction or the contracting business.
Oh, I started it, I don't know, many years ago. I started with one skid loader and a pickup. And I primarily did that, and I was working for another excavator at the time. And I primarily did it to help pay Christian school tuition that the kids were going to, and the tuition was very high. So I bought the skid loader and started fine grading houses. And it blew up way more than you could dream. I think I gave the guy like 2 or 3 months to probably buy another machine. In that 3 months, I think I had 3 or 4 machines bought, and it just grew to, and then we did everything. I mean, we just did more than fine grades. We did all kinds of dirt work, laying pipe, sub-Xing, all kinds of stuff, digging basements,
erosion
control, just everything that goes with that type of deal.
And you might have said this in your answer, but remind me now, how long was Dove Creek in business there?
25 years.
I think 25 years, as I remember it, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's a good run. That's a good run. I mean, there's a lot of companies who, and again, you kind of ended that on your own terms, and I definitely want to get back to that in a second. But there was another component to Dove Creek kind of further on down the line, and that was the logging business. And Ben, you ran that operation. So tell me how you started working. Go back in time a little bit, I guess, before the logging business. But tell us how you started working with your dad, and how long it was until the logging business came about, how that business came about, and what that kind of operation looked like, and how it worked kind of within kind of the Dove Creek outfit.
I went to work for Dad right out of school, and kind of growing up in the dirt world my entire life, doing the production dirt work kind of really wasn't my thing. I liked the dirt work side of it. I just didn't like the production side of it. Dad got a big job in Franktown, a town close by to us, to do a big indoor riding arena on the side of this mountain with thousands of trees on it. And we had to get a contractor in to come log it. And we started playing with numbers and looking at it, and kind of decided to try to conquer it on our own. Once we started clearing that piece of property, I kind of got hooked into the tree side of the world, and luckily got tied in with the U.S. Forest Service and the State Forest Service, and that company just kind of blew up.
And it's what's interesting to me about the logging business in particular is that not only it eventually became like an award-winning business, but like, obviously you're until you guys started that operation. I mean, it sounds like you were pretty new to it. What was it like? Not only like learning a new trade or a new way of doing something. Obviously there's similarities between that and the dirt work, equipment wise and everything else. But like, what was that like kind of, well into your career there, and picking up something and finding out you liked it, and becoming really, really good at it, to the point that you guys were named Logger of the Year in I think 2014 in Colorado, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we knew nothing about logging. We were a customer service business in the excavation world, and I think that's what made us very good in the logging industry, is because everybody else that was in the logging industry has been in it their entire life for generations, and we came into it with a different mindset as a customer service orientated business, and make a beautiful end product and try to make as much useful products out of the material we were getting as we could. I think that's kind of what blew our name up, is because we were more worried about the end result satisfying the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. And now kind of going back to the customer service piece is obviously, no matter what business you guys have been in, it's been a really big piece for you guys, and really see your success. And it was that logging business that actually, in a roundabout way, that kind of led you guys into starting the dealership, right? Like, you guys were actually looking for some equipment for the logging business, and that's how you got introduced to Kubota. Yeah, tell us that story a little bit about your kind of introduction to Kubota, and how the dealership kind of came about through that introduction to the machines.
So it kind of started. We were having trouble with some of the equipment that we had that just wouldn't last. The logging, running masticators on equipment is just very hard on them. It's probably the hardest thing on a piece of equipment. Logging, it just wrecks a lot of stuff. We were having trouble with the machines we were having. So then one of the people we were buying from said, we're really can't sell you any more tree equipment. The warranty is costing us way too much money. So I said, well, what would you recommend? I said, I'm not going to quit the tree business. He said, man, I've heard a lot of good things about the Kubota machines. So I went to Valentine, Nebraska, and watched one work. It was phenomenal. We got it home, and we were just like, this is unbelievable. So then we got another one, and I said, having a dealership in Valentine, Nebraska just kind of stinks for warranty work or anything. And he said, well, you have an open point over there. Why don't you start one? And that's kind of how it got started. I thought, well, maybe I'll just have a little Kubota store and sell myself equipment and sell a few tractors. And things kind of got out of hand.
Yeah, out of hand. Yeah, I was actually gonna mention that you guys were really kind of planning on something more complementary to the Dove Creek outfit, and it ended up kind of growing kind of well beyond that. So tell us about the growth of the business, and I guess from the point of, okay, we just started this dealership because we're so impressed by the equipment. Tell us what happened in the time between then and when it came time to really make a decision about, what you guys wanted to spend your time doing kind of moving forward, and what was going to be best from a business perspective.
I think the customers kind of forced us into that.
Yeah, they made us grow. We didn't grow because we wanted to grow. They just kept coming in and buying and buying and buying, and he was running the trees. And I was in here running this, and pretty soon he started taking an interest in this, and that's when we said, you know what, we need to sell the tree business and just move on and stay with this. And that's kind of how it went.
Now, by that point, had the kind of other side of it, had everything pretty much wound? You said that you were kind of you had pretty much moved on already, but Ben was still kind of running the tree business. Had the other side, the other jobs within Dove Creek, kind of run down at that point, and then really the only thing left was the logging?
The dirt business I just shut down. That was one of the requirements when I became a dealer. Kubota said, you have to quit the tree or the dirt business, and you can't sell to your competitors. So I really, but there wasn't a whole lot of competitors on the tree side of the world. So they said we could have that yet, but I had to shut the dirt down right away.
So how long was it between the time where you shut the dirt business down and Ben was running the logging business while you guys were simultaneously kind of running the logging business and Front Range at the same time? How long was that?
A couple of years.
Yeah, we sold the logging business probably 2 years after we got this started, but within probably 6-7 months of that opening Front Range Kubota, it started growing so fast he needed help. So I started coming down here probably half a day, 5 days a week, and then run up to the trees company the rest of the week. And then it became 3/4 of the day. And then it became, I would go to the logging company once or twice a week. And the forestry company was always doing good. It just came to the point where we couldn't get there anymore. Our needs were here, and the demand for us to be here was.
And actually, the guy that we hired to replace Ben running the field for the trees actually bought the tree company. He ran it for a while, and then he just decided to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd like to hear from both of you on this, just from each of your perspectives. But walking away from, Jeff, for you walking away from, the logging company operated within Dove Creek, but it was really kind of Ben's baby. So you both really had an operation that you were both passionate about and started up to some, a good deal of success. I mean, like a 25-year run on the dirt business, and then winning a statewide award just a few years in to the logging business. That had to have been hard to walk away from. So tell us a little bit about what that was like, walking away from something that you had built and put sweat and time into, and really kind of just kind of respond. It seems like it all happened kind of fast. So what was that like for you guys?
It wasn't fun. the tree business thoroughly enjoyed. I love the tree business. But you can only do so much. You know, you can only have your fingers in so many things. And that was one that it requires a lot of attention to be in the trees. And it just doesn't run itself. So something's going to suffer. And so we just decided that we enjoyed what we were doing here, and it was probably time to sell.
Well, and all truth beside, I was in love with the tree business so much, I was actually upset at Dad for starting a Kubota dealership, because the tree business was such, it was so much fun, and it was my baby. I loved the tree company. I hated to see him pull all of his time and energy away from it to come here. Hindsight being 2020, it's great. But yeah, that was the first year or so was pretty hard to walk away from it.
All right, there's much more coming up from Jeff and Ben, but really quick, we're going to take a second to tell you about the sponsor of this video, Phillips 66 Lubricants. Guys, look, I don't have to tell you this. Construction sites, mines, these are tough environments. And look, the equipment that you're doing it all in, it needs the toughest lubricants possible to protect that investment that you have made. And look, there are thousands of construction and mining operations all over the U.S. On mining in particular, 60% of mining operations in the U.S. trust one brand to keep their equipment going, Phillips 66 Lubricants. Take Gardol ECT, for example. It far outperforms the competition in wear protection and corrosion tests. So look, whatever you've got, graders, end loaders, dump trucks, Phillips 66 will protect it. Did you know that they even have a technical support hotline? You can call the Phillips 66 technical hotline and talk to experts with your product questions or any kind of general questions about lubricants that you might have at 1-877-445-9198. Phillips 66 Lubricants, keeping the world running smoothly. And you mentioned earlier kind of about how it was really like you guys felt like you needed to respond to just an outpouring of support from that customer base there in Kiowa. But you know, I kind of want to get into your business philosophy a bit here on that note. You guys are extremely customer service focused. And a lot of that comes from the fact that your background was as customers yourselves, you know, as little as 8 years ago, you guys were buying equipment. So, you know, tell me what you think is important for customers to know when they walk through the door at a Front Range location. What type of service do you guys strive to give? And what do you think, you know, I know that you guys have tried to do a lot of things at Front Range that you feel like has been missing from other dealerships, things that you've been hoping to correct and do the right way at Front Range. Kind of give us a nutshell kind of business philosophy here of what you guys are doing.
You know, for my perspective of it is we've been on the other side of the fence and trying to make ends meet with equipment payments and downtime and other dealerships. It felt like we would walk in the door and we need this machine fixed right away. We need it. Every machine breaks. We need to get this back out in the field. This is the only way we make our living is this machine running. So when we get a customer that walks in the door and has a machine down, we understand what it's like to be on their side. They got deadlines to make, they got bills to pay, employees to pay. That one piece of machinery is a network for their whole company. So they don't have to come in here and scream and yell and say, you need to get this fixed tomorrow. We understand that they need it fixed right away. If that's something we can't perform, we just make sure we can hold up our end of selling them equipment that they're out there running in the field and they're out there making money.
You guys have a pretty unique approach to the sales staff as well, Jeff. We kind of talked about that in some of our earlier talks, but yeah, I think one of the things that you told me was that you guys don't even like calling them salesmen. You think of them more as kind of guys who know the equipment, who know how to run the equipment, and who can hopefully not necessarily sell somebody a particular piece of equipment, but help that customer find the machine that's right for them. Tell us a little bit about that approach to the sales side of things.
You try to get people on the right machines, and there's quite a few times where somebody said, no, I just want this little machine right here. And you say, well, that's probably not going to work. A month later, they come back and they say, "Oh, we should have got the bigger machine. Can we do something?" And I always do. I tell them they got a month, and if they decide, and the same is vice versa. If it's too big of a machine, come back in less than a month, and we'll get you out of it and get you in the right one. But most of the time, we want to guide them to get them in the right one in the first place, and we explain it to them how it works and why it works and what their needs are. If they have, if they're feeding round bales, you're going to need a heavier tractor to pick up round bales. If you're just going to do little square bales and just grade your driveway, you need a small tractor.
Well, instead of having a salesman down your throat all the time, you gave one little bit of interest into looking at a skid loader or an excavator or a tractor. Instead, having a sales guy guide you in the direction of what you need is a lot better than having somebody hound you constantly. And then once you sell the machine to them, then the salesman disappears. No, at Front Range Kubota, our sales guys stick with the customer, whether it's a service question or a parts question. We can guide them through our dealership to make sure they're getting taken care of.
And in terms of kind of, one of the things that I've talked with you guys about is the fact that when it comes to hiring or bringing on new sales staff, you guys are really less concerned with sales experience and really more concerned with operation experience. Is that a correct characterization, or how do you guys approach that?
Well, and personality too. I mean, you just want somebody with a good personality. I think that's all of our staff. Most business, they've told me most businesses will be successful if you have 50 to 60% quality employment or employees. And here, I gotta say, 99% are just world class. We have we don't do this ourselves. Our people out there do it. I mean, from our parts guys to the service guys to the guys in the shop to our mobile mechanic, and these guys are just treat people right. And if they don't, they get to be all they can be somewhere else.
And I kind of want to move on to kind of some stuff that we're seeing in the construction industry, in the construction equipment industry. But, compact equipment, I want to say here in the last, 3, 4, 5 years, has absolutely just been exploding in terms of and growth and interest from customers. And I'm sure I'm not telling you guys anything when I say that, but tell me about the growth that you guys have seen in compact equipment. You got a really good insight to that there as a Kubota dealership, but also what that growth has been like for Kubota equipment specifically, because while compact is on the rise, Kubota in particular has been enjoying quite a bit of growth, quite a bit of success, to the point where they're adding manufacturing lines, opening new production facilities, expanding their construction equipment lineup, and a lot of that is definitely in response to that overall industry trend of compact equipment growth. How do you guys see that compact growth? What is it really stemming from? Is it stemming from customers doing things differently, or the increased capability of some of these compact machines? What types of machines are you guys seeing that growth in? Give us a rundown of what you think of that compact growth.
I think a lot of these contractors are figuring out compact machines have so much horsepower anymore and so much breakout force, so much more versatility on the job site, that they're not using these huge excavators, these huge payloaders for every scenario on the job site. And these homes are getting closer and closer and closer together every day. The versatility of being able to throw a track skid loader onto a trailer and zip it out to another job site versus having to bring the semi out and the low boy, and having a machine that's powerful enough to dig a basement or do a backfill, and having a mini excavator to fit in between these tight houses and but still have plenty of power to compact the dirt, dig out any foundation walls they need to do. and new home builds are blowing up across America.
I mean, and CTLs have been on the rise, obviously, for the last 5 years or so, and really they've kind of flip-flopped. Skid steers used to kind of dominate. Now it's CTLs, and that's kind of well known at this point in terms of like the compact mix. But what are you guys seeing on the compact excavator side? You mentioned there just kind of like how homes are getting closer and closer. Obviously, compact X's are getting a lot of use on those home sites, as are the skid loaders and the CTLs. But what are you guys seeing specifically from compact excavators? I know for a while there they were eating into quite heavily some of the backhoe sales and stuff like that. Are you guys seeing some of that interest? What are customers kind of saying about some of those compact excavator models?
Most of these big excavators had backhoes for years, and they're realizing that a mini excavator is a lot faster at digging, backfilling than a backhoe. It can fit into tighter places, it digs faster. A lot of your plumbers, instead of hand digging stuff, are buying smaller excavators. Kubota's kind of been the leader in the market as far as mini excavators, and we've just really tapped into that market the last couple of years and have nothing but room to grow in that market. And
what is it about, maybe the Kubota equipment specifically that you guys think is leading to a lot of growth? You guys had your own kind of like experience there, finding out about Kubota equipment to the point where you started your own dealership. So from your perspective, but also from what you guys hear from the customer base there in Kiowa, what is it about specifically this Kubota equipment that is leading to so much success that the company's seeing right now, in your opinion?
I see a lot less breakdowns, a lot less downtime. We've got guys that had an SVL 75 and they put 8,000 hours on it. We never saw the machine. That means for 8,000 hours, he did nothing but make money. He didn't have stuff sitting there for a month getting fixed and waiting in line to get fixed. The downtime is the hugest thing. If these guys can go to work every day and know their equipment's going to be in good shape, if they take care of it, that's the biggest thing I've seen.
Well, and I think, a lot of people say Kubota's new to the marketplace in some of these different areas Kubota's reaching out to, but a lot of these bigger contractors are familiar with Kubota as far as engines, and some of these other big manufacturers that used Kubota engines for years. You even see one of the biggest companies out there using Kubota engines in their compact equipment still to this day. So I don't think it's as hard to transition them over to Kubota as maybe some of the other competitors out there. But once you get a contractor in a Kubota machine, it's usually pretty easy to keep them in there.
Yeah, you bring up the point about the Kubota engine being in other machines, and it just made me think immediately of the SCL 1000, and that's a new product for Kubota. New mini skid steer, compact utility loader, whatever you want to call it. But that is another example of a Kubota engine inside that machine that is currently powering several other like competing mini skid steers, stand-on track loaders. So tell me about, and I feel like that's a good, like, it might even be like an entry-level machine or a way to kind of get a new customer in the door. But what's your perspective on that SCL 1000? What have you guys heard from customers? Because there's been a lot of buzz around that machine in particular.
All the ones that we've been allocated are sold already, and we haven't got one yet. Everybody's very excited.
Yeah, Kubota hasn't shipped one unit yet. They introduced them in March. Yeah, they introduced them, I think, to the public in March, and due to COVID and all that, they just haven't released them yet. I think here we're supposed to have them here in the next couple months, and the allotment that we're getting is pre-sold for months, and we got customers knocking down the door. I think it's going to open us up into a lot of the landscapers to maybe tie up a full line of a landscaper that now we can sell them these stand-ons, maybe move us more into the turf side with that contractor. maybe show them how versatile an excavator is that they maybe haven't owned before. I think it's going to be a great door opener for a lot of new customer base for us.
From what you've seen of that machine, it hits a couple of sweet spots with over, with the narrow width combined with a pretty capable kind of operating capacity. And really that combination, really no other machine on the market's really got that combo of lifting capability with narrow width. But what do you guys think that they got right with that machine?
Just being able to bring something to the market that a lot of the other players don't have. Once again, going back to these backyards, these houses are getting so close together. It's tough to do any work in the backyards of these houses. And a lot of it's getting done with wheelbarrows or taking fences down to get bigger equipment in. Now these guys can go in there, not have to screw up any of the front landscaping or the side of the house, take down one gate, drive the machine in, be able to do the heavy lifting, the hard digging, and get the job done a lot faster. Now,
kind of moving back to, we're going to talk a little bit about 2020 here, but also kind of looking forward. But despite, the pandemic, 2020 has been a pretty good year for you guys. So talk a little bit about what you guys have seen in 2020, the sales that you've seen, and how much an improvement 2020 is going to be for over 19 for you guys, and where, what you attribute the increased demand to.
It's all across the board. I mean, a lot of people are buying stuff to do their own projects at home. They're stuck home because of the COVID. Let's do a project. We need a piece of equipment. There's a lot of that, but also on the construction side of things, people are more on their backyards, hiring people to do landscaping and that type of thing. So all the contractors I know are just crying for help. That's their biggest problem is the people. They just can't find the people to get it done. So everybody's busy. It's a crazy time. I don't know what 2021 is going to be like, but I'm going to probably guess about the same.
Yeah, well, speaking of 21, I mean, have you guys seen anything as of late that makes you, I mean, beyond just kind of like the current craziness and the current demand and the speed at which things are moving, and the speed at which inventory is moving out, you said you would be surprised if there weren't more growth. I mean, is that just because of momentum that's kind of carried you here into the holiday season? Kind of go into a little bit why you're feeling good about 2021.
We kind of try to stay, with inventory, you're always ordering equipment 6 months to a year out. So you're always worried, did I order too much? Do I not have enough? So we were always talking to some of our bigger contractors who are kind of the front runners of a job or a neighborhood. And we talked to them saying, hey, what do you see happening in the next 12 months? What do you see happening in the next 24 months? I was talking to one of our big contractors last week. He said he's got more stuff on the books next year than he's had ever in their business. And they've been open for 30 years. So you kind of keep an eye on that and keep in touch with your customers and see what they feel and they see happening. And it gives you a little better idea of what you need to do for the next year.
Well, Jeff, Ben, I could go on all day. It's always fun talking to you guys. Congratulations again on the 2020 Big Iron Dealer of the Year award. Thank you guys for giving us so much of your time with just how busy it is, not just at this time of year, but just in general. I know how things are moving for you guys. The amount of time that you've given us and the amount of conversations we've had, I very much appreciate it. And I know that it's not a small sacrifice. So thank you guys again for coming on, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and yeah, congrats again on the award.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate the time you gave us. Thank you for the award and everything you guys do for us equipment dealers out there.
All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this episode of The Dirt. As always, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you think of this episode or whatever else is on your mind. We always love hearing from you guys. And if you like this video and found the information in it useful in any way, specifically in your next machine purchase or rental, do us a favor and hit that like button below. It really helps the channel out. And if you haven't already, head over to our website at equipmentworld.com. We've got a ton more videos and news coverage of the construction industry and heavy equipment and trucks and a lot more. So head on over to equipmentworld.com, and while you're there, subscribe to our daily newsletter. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here on YouTube and be sure to hit that bell, turn on notifications so you're getting up to the minute alerts whenever we drop a new video. All right, guys, thank you so much again for watching. We always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in the next one.